Van Oster.
This is a CBS News special report. From CBS News headquarters in New York, here is Dan Rather.
Good morning. Updating the tragic story still unfolding at Gander Airport in Newfoundland, Canada. Officials believe that all 258 people aboard an Aero Air civilian chartered DC-8 jet are dead. The victims include 250 of America's best, 250 U.S. soldiers who were finished with a tour of duty with the Sinai Egypt International Peacekeeping Force in the Middle East, soldiers from the U.S. Army's 101st Airborne Division. They were on their way home in time for Christmas. They were due to arrive this morning at Fort Campbell, Kentucky. Also believed dead, all of the plane's crew members, 3 in the cockpit, and 5 flight attendants aboard this civilian charter. The first film from the scene of confusion, horror, and death has arrived. CBS News has made a decision not to show any of this film until we have had time to review it and make certain, or as certain as we can, that it does not contain footage that might upset worried relatives or viewers in general. In the confusion and chaos, the Pentagon has established a number for relatives to call of soldiers who might have been aboard the plane. That number for information is area code 703-325-7576. Repeating, 703-325-7576. Now, this is what we believe we know at this hour. The plane had just taken off from Gander Airport in Canada this morning. A light snow had been falling. There were cloudy skies. The plane crashed and exploded just outside the airport security fence. Cause of the crash? Unknown. The aircraft's route had been as follows. It picked up the U.S. soldiers in Cairo, Egypt. It made a refueling stop at the civilian airport at Cologne in West Germany. Then another stopover at Gander, Newfoundland, Canada. The plane was to have gone on to Fort Campbell, Kentucky, where relatives were waiting this morning to welcome them. Now, we've reviewed some of the first film from the scene, and we want to show this to you now. We may be showing this to you in bits and pieces as it goes along. From Gander, Newfoundland, this is the scene of the crash where 258 people all aboard this plane, all believed to have been Americans, died this morning. This film shot by the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation. A burning tire from the aircraft. The air-chartered DC-8 jet had just taken off when it crashed and exploded. And you can see from those first photographs from the scene what a terrible explosion it was. Keep in mind the plane had presumably just been refueled. An aircraft this size, of course, carries a very large fuel capacity. The aircraft was owned by the Miami-based charter company called Aero Air. CBS News reporter Peter Van Sant reports that Aero Air was one of 16 carriers cited last year by the Federal Aviation Administration for safety violations after a special inspection of all of this nation's airlines. Some of Aero's air routes were suspended pending corrective action. In Miami today, Aero Air so far has had no comment. Let us underscore that nobody knows the cause of this crash. There's simply no indication of what the cause is. Now, we've reviewed more of the film from the scene, and we want to pass that along. What's happening here is we're getting this film in, but rather than run it as we get it and putting it directly on the air, we want to review it as it comes in. Among the witnesses to the crash was Vic Mahoney. He saw the crash from a gas station near the airport, and here's his eyewitness description.
All we seen was the smoke going up from the plane. The sky lit up for seconds, and then there was nothing but smoke. Like 2 big mushrooms of smoke went up first, and there's just very light smoke rising there now.
The voice of an eyewitness to the crash. Rescue workers and security people came, of course, very quickly to the scene. Those first films just in from the scene where 258 persons aboard a civilian chartered Aero Air DC-8 crashed and exploded just after taking off from Gander, Newfoundland, Canada this morning. 250 of the victims, U.S. soldiers. David Martin, our CBS News Defense Department correspondent, is standing by at the Pentagon. David, good morning. What is the Pentagon saying about this terrible holiday tragedy?
Well, Dan, there is still much confusion about what happened here, and part of that confusion stems from the fact that since this was an international force, the The charter flight that was bringing the soldiers home was arranged by an office in Rome. So things like the manifest, which would list the names of the passengers on board, are still hard to come by, and the facts are hard to come by. There are no eyewitness accounts from American military people that we know of yet that would tell us anything about what happened at the scene. The Army is sending an investigating team up to, I shouldn't say investigating team, an observer team up to Canada to help with the identification of the bodies, to help with the notification of the next of kin. The National Transportation Safety Board and the FAA are sending investigators who will work with the Canadian authorities in attempting to determine the cause of the crash.
David, as we know, the DC-8 has a worldwide reputation of being one of the more dependable aircrafts and has had for a very long time. Is there any indication anywhere in the Pentagon as to the cause of this crash?
There is not, and you have heard, as I have heard, the speculation, and it is only speculation and rumor about sabotage, and I think those stem primarily from eyewitness accounts which first said that they had seen the plane explode in the air. We have no way of verifying those eyewitness accounts here, and that would be, of course, only the very first step in trying to determine whether or not there was any sabotage involved. I suppose it is worth noting that in 1984, the U.S. head of the American contingent to this multinational force was killed in Rome, and the Red Brigade claimed credit for it. So these people have been the targets of terrorists before.
Thank you, David, while underscoring that we simply don't know what caused this plane crash this morning. Repeating, all 258 persons aboard a chartered Aero Air DC-8 bringing U.S. soldiers home after a tour of duty with the Sinai Peacekeeping Force have apparently died in the crash of the plane just outside Gander Airport on the Canadian island of Newfoundland. Cause of the crash still unknown. The special number to call if you have any questions for relatives is 703-325-7576. CBS News will keep you posted on the latest developments throughout the day, and of course we'll have full details on the CBS Evening News tonight. For now, Dan Rather in New York. Thank you.
This has been a CBS News special report.
75. He says 975.